His brother's AOL has completely collapsed. Oh, Taras Clark. Welcome to the NSO podcast, people. It's myself. Yeah,
I can't believe what happened there. Honestly,
look at this guy. Look at this guy.
I can't believe what's happened there. Like, I'm a flipping content creator, and I got AOL dial-up standard internet. It's crazy, man. Listen, apologies.
You pay for it, innit?
I'm gonna set the record straight. People, thanks for tuning back into the New Spurs Order podcast. Unfortunately, this is probably one of the darkest days we'll have on the pod. In my 5 and a bit years since being on the pod, this is by far and away one of the darkest weeks we will have on this podcast, and we will elaborate on the reason behind that as we get through this episode. Macho Man, Scott Hall, I know you lot have just got, I don't even want to explain or put your emotions or feelings into words. So how are you both feeling this week?
Deflated is a word for it. Like, there was a part of me that was like, nah, that we're gonna have a lot of hate listeners today. I'm not going to give them what they want. No, I've learned to be more vulnerable in the last couple of years. So I'm just going to speak the truth, like, and I'll explain why later on in the pod. But this as a transfer, on God, it hit me harder than losing the Champions League final. I'll be so real with you. I learned to compartmentalize with Tottenham a very long time ago. It's like, if Tottenham lost the game, I'd be pissed off for like 30 seconds. I crack on with my day. I lived with these guys for like 6 years. They never saw me rattled about Tottenham once. To the point they didn't believe that I wasn't getting rattled. They thought I was putting it on. I had to FaceTime one of them on like a 45-minute walk at work yesterday. My head was gone. My head was gone. My head has been completely gone for like 48 hours. But we'll get into that, man.
And Scott Hall, how you doing, bro?
Listen.
In fact, I know how you're doing because you called me on a Wednesday. And
I called you after you, bro. I knew what you were about to say.
Fam, bro, all I'm going to say is this. When y'all called me, do you know what I was doing? I was walking around my flat. I was walking outside. Like when you just have to clear your head because you just can't believe what's happened. And then I've had to go to the gym.
Listen, all I'll say is this, is one particular individual I've sent shots for like last 4 years since the inception of this podcast. I keep telling people, I'm not going to warn you anymore. I'm going to just tell you straight up that I was right. I've always been right, and I will continue to be right. There is a muck that runs our club. He was born a muck. He was raised in the realm of mucks. He ate at a table with mucks. He is just the ultimate muck. And his name is Daniel Mukov Levy. I've been saying this for yonkers. You can't have losers run your club on the footballing side. You just can't. When man don't know what they're doing from a footballing perspective, or they don't know how to make friends, they're gonna ruin things. Daniel Levy has one solidified, bona fide man will go on TV, radio, and tell the world that this man is my brethren. Only one person I've heard say this. Simon Jordan. Make of that what you want, brother. Make of that what you want. I don't even know Simon personally, but make of that what you want. Every other chairman, every other person that's come out and spoken about Daniel Levy, they don't like my man. They don't respect my man. He has no friends. He has no fans. So I'm here to tell man, Spurs fans, I think I gave you this black prop not too long ago. So in case those of you that didn't remember and you forgot, I'm just going to remind you again because I feel like it's only right that I give you this good information. Everton fans did something that, pundits around the world said wasn't good. I personally said, I understand it. What I will say to you fans is, Levy's accessible. He's there. You can see him. He's within arm's reach. Steve, Robert, Simeon, wink, wink, Ben. If you man also happen to be in the vicinity, I would advise that you have just a simple conversation with the mook. What you do in that conversation is up to you, but a simple conversation shall suffice. And for those of you that are asking, oh yeah, why won't you do it? Charlie, I've been banned before. I don't need a lifetime, okay? I've got children, yeah? Let me stay away from this. A protest, I heard Billy T, what's it, Change for Tottenham, and them, man, they're looking to do a protest. Look, listen, that's all good and well. The reason why I haven't gone to none of these protests is because I generally believe, until proven otherwise, that these men are really actually protesting for their own gain, as opposed to for the benefit of Spurs. Unless proven right, you know, whatever. But what I will say is this. It's dark outside. Like, we're talking black dark. Darker than dark. Darker than black flipping kits. It's dark outside. And it's about to get darker. Because with 10 days left, nobody's arriving. Nobody.
You know what, like, and I know we'll obviously get into specifics around like what actually happened with the deal, or what didn't happen with the deal, who's to blame, where do we go from here? But like, I find it really stunning that Spurs are the only club who can turn positive momentum into negative momentum so quickly. Like, it is actually scary. Like, you won the Europa League, you sacked Ange Postecoglou, you brought in Thomas Frank. Every single thing that happened there was good for the club. We went into the summer with expectations. You then gave us Kudus. A day later, you then moved from Morgan Gibbs White, and we're thinking, "Raw, what's going on here?" Spurs are moving different. We're hearing all this talk on investment. There was positive momentum. And it's like that momentum has just completely been derailed. And now it's negative momentum. In a period where we've seen this team go toe-to-toe with the best team in Europe, with no Maddison, no Kulusevski, Solanke was barely fit, no Destiny Udogie, no new attacking signings, no Son, no this. We've taken them to the wire and we've lost out on penalties. And then we started the season pretty good with a good result, 3-0, Burnley, clean sheet, dusted. Like, we should be talking about the positives, because there are positives, but we can't focus on the positives because the negatives just keep weighing us down. And the biggest negative is this Eze deal. I'm sorry. People going in my comments saying, "Oh, I'm overreacting." I don't care if people think I'm overreacting. This is a shambolic situation for Tottenham to be in. It is. When you look at all the facts, it is a shambolic situation to be in, because Spurs had it within their capacity to get this deal done. I don't want to hear it. They had it within their capacity to get this deal done, and we're here playerless. And not only are we playerless, we're facing yet another tough opponent. We're literally playing Man City tomorrow. We're facing another strong opponent, and the squad is short. The squad is still short. Forget about even the fact that, oh, he's gone to Arsenal and whatnot. Let's look at the criticality of that player for our team. The squad's short. It's literally short. We just heard news reports. Kulusevski's not going to be back until 2026, which is what we mostly already expected anyway. So even if you want to remove the Arsenal thing away from it, just look at the team. The team needs a number 10. The team needs another attacker with the number 10. The team needs a left-sided defender, and we're here 3 games into the season, and Thomas Frank is still having to do press conferences saying how hard the club's working. How hard the club's working behind the scenes. How hard are they working? Because how comes Liverpool have wrapped up most of their business? Man City have wrapped up most of their business. Arsenal have wrapped up most of their business. Chelsea have wrapped up most of their business. Man United, Manchester United have wrapped up. They've 3 starters into their team. What about us? The team that actually won silverware. What about us? This is what I don't understand. And I know, Macho Man, you're itching to talk. Go on. Free the thing.
It's a level. I need to try and segment all the things I want to say, because I could honestly monologue on my own for about an hour. I did it at work yesterday about Eze, but it just speaks to like the lack of incompetence from Daniel Levy. And I've never really been a, oh my god, Levy out, purple and gold guy. I'm like, look, there's some good stuff he does for the club off the field. There's some really bad stuff he does on the field. To this day, I've never forgiven him for letting Poch go 2 transfer windows scarce. Do you know what I mean? And you mentioned it already. Like, there was a level of decisiveness. In fact, let me pause. There was always a conversation of, would you rather finish here and win a trophy, or would you rather finish 4th, or would you rather finish 2nd? And I like to think, as a collective within the NSO, we've always said it's not necessarily about where you finish and what you win. Like, obviously, you want to succeed, but it's what you do next and the level of decisiveness and how you capitalize on it that means the most. Do you know what I'm saying? Fans tried to tell us for years, oh, but how can you tell your nose about Carabao? Because you won it in 08 and nothing happened afterwards. That's why we can turn our nose up at it. Like, with all due respect, yeah, Arsenal and Man United have won. I've seen them win more FA Cups than I'll probably ever see Tottenham win. But like last year, everyone forgot United were FA Cup defenders. Do you know what I'm saying? Arsenal won how many FA Cups under Wenger and Emery, and it wasn't enough because they weren't capitalizing. They weren't being decisive. Like you said, won a European title. Ange out, Frank in, decisive. Kudus in, decisive. MGW attempt, decisive. But then suddenly, when it's time to like finally just get over that hill and do what you really, really need to do, suddenly you're stalling. You're there doing baspos with Steve Parish about all this add on here, that add on there. To be honest, Steve Parish was probably stalling for a hot minute. But listen, the fee that Arsenal have paid is what, 60 mil plus 7.5, which is what, 500 bands under the release clause. You pay the release clause, this doesn't happen. You pay the release clause on expiry day, this doesn't happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think, if you don't mind, I just want to, because I think I tried to explain to some people earlier, yesterday, even last night, that for me personally, at least, missing out on Eze, honestly, it's actually, I think 2% of my upset is that he's gone to Arsenal. That's like 2% of it. Like, I can take getting framed by Arsenal fans, like it happened all the way through growing up, it's minor. I think for me with the Eze thing, and I feel like I can speak for some people in the NSO. So, like, I'm from Edmonton. Most of the men in my school were Arsenal fans, United fans. Arsenal had the Henrys, Kanu, Wiltor, Vieira, Ashley Cole, blah, 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 blah. Even further in time, Bakary Sagna, whatever. Now, Tottenham did have black players. We had black British players. We had King, we had Defoe, we had Ferdinand. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can't lie. Zakora had a little run as a fan favorite. Palacio, all these guys, yeah, cool. But for me personally, I don't think we've had a black British franchise player when we've been good. Do you know what I'm saying? We haven't had a black British franchise player that a younger generation of the fan base would look at and be like, oh my God, this guy's cold. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like whether statistically, whether stylistically, do you know what I mean? Now, for me, obviously, I think Kudus definitely has that potential. I think we've with Son going, we needed a new franchise player. Given the way transfers have gone, it could be Kudus, but I don't want us to turn into, if Kudus isn't playing, we have no creativity going on. I feel like, considering where the parade was starting at Edmonton Green, outside my old primary school, where it was quite black when I was there, but it's like 90% black in that school now. They got the day. I remember my mom showed me the email. They got a day off school because of the parade. There's a new generation of fans that are like, oh, we got a day off school because of Tottenham. Let's be more interested. And then a lot of people who don't support Palace, they already love Eze. When you now add Eze to that mix as a Tottenham player, I think it just does something for a younger generation of black Spurs fans, which
even us.
Even us, older gen.
That was my thing about him joining as well as what he does on the pitch.
I'm saying it does a lot, and it's like, I didn't really know black Spurs fans growing up. Literally, the most black Spurs fans I know in one group is joining NSO. Like, at any one point in my life, I only ever known one other black Spurs fan. You know what I'm saying? So I think, the culture, the intangible culture. So when the club is I've noticed the club is trying to lean into the culture thing. Like we had J1 doing that "This is Tottenham" video, because I feel like a lot of the time what N17 looks like and what stadium looks like on the inside doesn't always match. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas I feel like the club, and whether it's been intentional signing, all these black players. This is the blackest Tottenham I've ever seen in my life. This is the blackest Tottenham I've ever seen. And I just feel like Eze would have been the one, and not just talismanic in terms of like how he plays, but who he is and what he would mean as like a British Nigerian. I welcome Jacko. Me and Jacko are having a debate because he doesn't think Eze is that good, but it's whatever. Jacko, don't worry, man. One day you'll come on the pod and we can discuss some of your Serie A guys. Don't worry.
Wait. Sorry to interject. Jacko doesn't think Eze is that good, but
no, it's cool. I've said to Jacko, we'll get him on.
I was chatting to Jacko in our DMs recently.
DMs. Big up Jacko though. Big up Jacko. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is I feel like there's a lot of intangibles that signing Eze would have had for us, for our generation, the younger generation, and I think that's probably what upsets me the most. Arsenal, listen, they gazumped us all from my childhood. Like this is normal for me. Do you know what I'm saying? United used to do it to us, like it's minor. But yeah, I just feel like that's the trick that we've missed. And on top of that, I think Eze plus another 2 or 3 guys, we'd be contending for some stuff, man. But here we are in it.
I think let's actually move on to the agenda, because I want to canter through here, and I want us to talk about what we did wrong, and then I want to talk about where we go from here, right? So Yao, I guess you can speak. Me and Ohio have spoken about the significance of what the player would have meant to the club, but like in your opinion, based off all the facts that you've heard, Ornstein, etc., where does the blame lie here for this deal, and how did we fumble this deal?
We fumbled the deal because of Daniel Levy. It's that simple. I'm not going to sit here, and I know people are going to be like, you're Levy out, all of this stuff. What about the good thing he's done? Look, I'm not saying that he did not want Arsenal. Of course he wanted Arsenal. He said it like it's clear as day. He's got a love affiliation to Arsenal. However, Chelsea, Man City, old school United, and quite possibly even this current Liverpool team would have done one thing that Spurs under Levy will never do. Just never do. And I mean be beyond ruthless. Even if the target is a fan favorite or a favorite to go somewhere else. Daniel Levy had the option, because he was very well known, very much aware of Arsenal's stance on the release fee. They were like, no, we're not going to pay the release fee. I think it's a bit too much. That was the thing. And then they called off. They backed off. And for a whole week, there was no news of Eze 2 anywhere. The moment I heard that Spurs were back in, all I asked for, all I cared for, was, can this guy be ruthless? Instead of going over there and haggle this, haggle that, threatening to walk away from the deal because, he's got 2 years left. Instead of all of that, just go there and be like, look, Parish, I know I ain't got great business with you. We ain't got a great rapport. I ain't got time for it. This is the player that, the manager is interested in. This is the player that, will unite the fan base. You're saying 68 million is the release clause. It expires on Friday. Thursday morning, I'm calling him up and I'm like, we're hitting the release clause. We're hitting all your terms. Every single last one of it. I want Eze in our shirt by Friday evening. If Arsenal then come back in and join and, hit the release mark and, make it happen, and fine. At the very least, I couldn't even turn around and be mad. But we know who this muck is. We know who he is. There's 2 mucks at the club, by the way. There's Daniel Levy and his other Triple L brother, Lange. Those 2 mucks are special. As we know earlier on in the summer, Lange is the reason that he didn't do his due diligence. Hence why the Morgan Gibbs White deal went to tits. And Levy has shown his head. You know what makes Levy's whole situation even worse? 2 weeks ago, roughly about that time period, an interview came out on the overlap with Gary Neville. So for all those Spurs fans that were arguing, oh, he said he stepped away from football, he's not the one that's in charge of the negotiating. From the horse's mouth itself, he said he doesn't deal with none of the player selections. He doesn't select the players, blah, blah, blah. But when it's finally down to the negotiations, that's when he comes to the table. Well, after that admission, we can now go back in history and we can go look at every single last one of those players that we've missed out on, and every single last one of them that I've been telling people for years that this guy is responsible for some of the biggest floppages we've ever had as a club. Highly responsible. Diabala. Aguero. Heck, if I'm correct, back in the late 2000s, I'm sure we were even linked to Kaka. He probably messed that up as well. But this one, you know why this one is special? This one is special because of the new version of what Tottenham is finally looking like. Finally. Just Spence. Destiny Udogie. Danso. Bergvall.
Stop that, man. Stop that. Stop that.
What? Tell. Odegaard. Kudus. Momo Kudus. The core feels like it's directly from Tottenham. It feels like it's starting to give back to the community. Build a team that people that are fans can look at and be like, from all credences, can look at and be like, I see myself in that player. See myself in that player, and so on and so forth. And NSO would have been one of those players. He would have been a great addition to have, especially what he's done over the last 2 seasons. Oh, Sarr as well. I forgot about Sarr. What a great start to the season he's had as well. I'm not going to include Basuma because he does balloons and black people don't do balloons. So that's a different story for a different day. But what I will say is this. The thing that I find frightening about our club is our chairman doesn't seem to understand who he is. Like, you don't go out into interviews and say, I want to win the Champions League. I want to win the league. And then go to Crystal Palace and say to them, yeah, one of the add-ons is going to be, if we win the league, you get 5 million. I'm not saying that is the add-on, but I know who this gentleman is to say something stupid like that. And the reason why that's dumb is because Paris should look at you and be like, brother, in the last 6 months, the club I've ran and ran well have won the FA Cup, which you haven't won since 91. You haven't even been to a final since 91. And we just took the Charity Shield. Now, I know you won the Europa League, well done, hands over to you, but you can't talk to man. Go over there with realistic talks. Go over there, be ruthless. We've had an American come over. Bruv, when I was growing up, Chelsea were tractor boys. They were the Ipswich of London. Nobody respected this club. Then a Russian arrived and flipping bought 62 Africans, including Drogba, and said, here, deliver me titles. And just year on, that's all they kept doing. Now Chelsea are like, yeah, hey, Arsenal, you need a player, yeah? Cool, got you. None of this, I got sort out the payment terms later. Just take him, we'll sort you out on the back end. Cool. If they don't like Arsenal moving in a particular way to go get a player, Mudryk in that case, no, you're going to throw 100 M's, we're going to throw 100 M's. We're going to take this player from you. Spurs can never move like this because we don't have footballing people at the board level. We have business people. We have financial people. People that only care about their pockets. That's why we got one of the highest tickets, but one of the worst deliveries on the pitch. We got very lucky last season, and I know this is a monologue, but unfortunately it's surgical summers. We got lucky last season. We finished 17th and won a cup that so happened to propel us into the Champions League, which would have been equivalent to finishing top 5. But we didn't get top 5 money because we didn't finish in the top 5 in the league. We finished 17th. We picked up 38 points. You did everything right up until July. You sacked the manager that tried to lie his way to an extension. Good. You brought a Ghanaian to the club, a very good Ghanaian at that way, to the club. And you even done a little video in Broadwater Farm, so I've been told, for the Ghanaian community. Fantastic. You went and got us a 6. Some people question the 6, but I've said what I've had to say about it. Paulinho was great in the league. I think he's going to be great for us moving forward. Good. You brought in a coach and a manager and a coaching team that is clearly coaching our squad. Good. You hit the release clause, or apparently, for Morgan Gibbs-White, and then you got smoked. You got smoked by Poseidon. First L. And then, how dare you? How dare you to do that? You decide to go to South London, take 4 planes and a flipping taxi that was bought by Dave just to get you to Crystal Palace. And you still messed this up. You had a free, even if it was for 48 hours, you had a free run. You spoke to the thing in the rave for 48 hours, and man with a red and white shirt came and bucked her outside and said, yo, babes, let's go. And you were left with your Johnson in your hand. I'm telling you now, Daniel Mokov Levy has to be sacked by Enoch. I know he's part of Enoch, but that doesn't mean they can't get rid of him. This is a monumental L. Like, massive. The Morgan Gibbs-White one, I didn't even consider it to be, and I was like, whatever, man. Like, move on. Like, you can legitimately move on. This one is embarrassing because we were there. We were legitimately there. Ben Jacobs, it's partially agreed. Fabrizio tweeting every 2 minutes. It's agreed, it's agreed. Man played against Chelsea, was going to play against whatever that team that they just, Fitzgerald, whatever that team's name was. Man was going to play against them. You couldn't get over the line. Nobody can ever convince, absolutely nobody under the sun can convince me that Levy is not to blame for this. That Levy is not to blame for the long list of players that we've missed out on. I'm telling you now, as I've been telling you guys in the group for time, Daniel Levy, no matter what happens at this club, has to go. He said it on the overlap that, oh, he probably will get more praise when he steps down. No, when you step down, that'll be a great day. And don't come around me because I'll slap your face. Scott Hall out.
I think very, very well described situation of, well, very well described view of how it went down this week. There's a lot of copium. There's a lot of, but Arsenal had the deal lined up already. There's a lot of, they were talking to him a couple of weeks ago. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt most of that. But in the end of the day, they didn't move for him. And in football, you have to be opportunistic. Like, this isn't exclusive to Tottenham and Arsenal. There have been many players in the past who have ended up going elsewhere because the primary club that they were lining themselves up for didn't come in. It happens all the time. It really happens. So it's just disappointing, bitterly disappointing for the tangible and intangibles that we've lost out on because this player is not going to play for our football club. But if I pivot over to what this means going forward, then and there are some questions. 1 second. We've got a couple of listener questions. So one from Bulldozier, so at Bulldozier95, he says, if we hypothetically / realistically don't sign any more players, who would you want to see in the 10 spot from our current squad? If it's Kudus, then who would you play out wide? So I want us to keep that question in mind. And then another question from CXNWXYT says, who are the realistic options for the 10 for Spurs now going forward? I'd suggest an Ndiaye from Everton. And then there's another question from HP Common You Spurs _ that says Nico Paz or Akiliush. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So yeah, I think the reason why I put those three questions together is because I want us to talk about what happens next. Where do we go from here? The club have 8 days left to get a number 10 in, or give us a solution for the number 10. Where are you guys at? So, Ohio, I want to start with you. You heard HP Coys mention Nico Paz or Akiliush, who we're looking at. Obviously, there's still talk of Savinho, but that's a different matter altogether. We've seen Sarr play in the 10 this season, whether rightly or wrongly. Where do you stand then on how Spurs remedy that number 10 solution?
My dream scenario is to recall Alfie Devine from his Preston North Home loan, but that's not going to happen.
Can you stop with this? Can you no. Can you chill with this, please? Yeah.
But I have only seen a couple comps of Akiliush. I've only seen a couple comps of the kid. Looks good, looks talented, fits the mold we seem to be going for with young talent and stuff. My only slight concern with an Akiliush, who I've barely watched, is I'm not sure if he's fit for the level of responsibility that we need to give him if he was to roll. I'm not sure he's physically ready yet. I said the same thing about Bergvall last year, and it was pretty evident first couple of months, but whilst the medical team was ass, the S&C team did their job because Bergvall looks like, for the most part, he can handle men's football. Nico Paz is nice, good player. But I don't really entertain the Nico Paz talk because I think it's fairly common knowledge that Madrid have just said to him, just wait. And realistically, his manager is Cesc Fabregas. Cesc Fabregas has probably been telling him every day, why the hell would you want to go to Tottenham? So I think the Nico Paz thing is pretty dead in the water, to be honest. But yeah, I think Akiliush looks nice little. Is he French, or does he just play for Monaco? Is he French?
He plays for France. Well, he's claimed French nationality, so he played for the under-21s, I think. But okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's been capped by the national team.
Okay, cool. So at least like settling in wise and team chemistry wise, he'd get on really well with Tell and Odebear and stuff like that. Like, I think that's quite important, especially for young players. Probably be easy to get him out of Monaco as well. Como aren't really lacking for P's. Monaco, a renowned setting club. I think had we left Eze alone completely and then gone for Akiliush, I'd be like, oh, you know what? I'm excited by this one. I think if we were to get Akiliush now, obviously I'd be annoyed for him because he's sitting there like, well, it wasn't your first choice. But then I think it takes a bit of a sting out of missing out Eze, but not all of it. But probably Akiliush is probably the sign, and I'd be the most content with, having not seen that much of him.
Fair. And I've not really seen much of him as well, to be honest. But I've seen the comps. I've seen some of his underlying numbers across some of these sites that all these tacticals like to go on, and it looks good. If he's a name that the club had in their sights, alongside Eze, which it seems like it looks like another name that they had, then hopefully you'd think that they've done their research. But that point you just made there is so important. It's like, because of what we could have had and no longer have, and we're referring to now, or definitely to now, it's almost bittersweet. And we ain't even signed a player. Like, if he does sign, I'm sure that may look to be, or prove to be, a good signing for Tottenham. And maybe it might fit the exact characteristics of what we need in the 10 in comparison to an Eze. But in the end of the day, nothing beats, in my eyes, a player who you already know is already at a certain level and brings that level of experience, quality alongside those intangibles to the club. And then, of course, with the Eze thing, the homegrown problem. He helps tick off another box he would have helped tick off another box of the homegrown problem. And now it's like, now whoever we go out and sign, our options are limited because, well, in fact, our options are basically rendered null and void unless we're going for Harvey Elliott when it comes to homegrown players who can improve this team because everyone else is unavailable. Morgan Gibbs-White, we got slapped by Nottingham Forest. Morgan Rogers, there's no chance we're getting him at Aston Villa. Not a chance in hell. Eze's going to Arsenal. We're cooked. So we have to go. We have to go foreign. We have to go foreign. But to your point, we absolutely need to bring someone in. Okay, cool. They may not be as good as Eze, but you need to bring someone in. Yao, go on. I know you want to say something.
I personally would consider Akliouche because I know he can play off the right as well, right wing. And if I'm being brutally honest, I'd actually just move Kudus to the 10. And the reason why I'd move Kudus to the 10 is because his hold-up play and his ability to hold up, his opponent is extremely good, which means that, at the very least, we can get the ball to feet and not really worry about it, losing it. And he can drive forward with the ball. And at least Akliouche, as a player, from what I can see from the comps, does the similar thing to what Kudus was doing on the right-hand side. Now, the problem is Kudus doesn't mind playing the 10. He's not come out and said he doesn't like playing the 10, but he does prefer, the right wing. But I'm sure he will be more than happy to work for the squad. One player that needs to reduce his minutes, I don't care how it works, but he needs to, go into Frank's office and tell him directly that, he should really just be at the club for work experiences, Brennan Johnson. But it's not enough. It's not enough. Even if we consider the homegrown issue, it's not enough. We need at least 2 more signings in. Or and that's at the least. And we're not actually talking mainly about attack. Last season, we were talking about defense. We're we needed 2 more signings for defense. We got nobody. And we went to January and had to go get Danso. Yeah. This season, this summer, we're talking about 2 more in attack. And we haven't got it. So, once again, our fans have allowed Daniel Levy to slap you guys in the face. Deservedly so.
I think that solution of putting Kudus through the middle, and I think obviously the questions alluded to it, like using existing solutions to solve our number 10 problem. I think that only works if you bring in the other attacker.
Exactly.
Like you can't just move Kudus to the 10 and then be sweet with the options that we got on the flanks, because then instantly we're automatically losing the quality that we signed Kudus for on the flank, which then brings us to our other point on Savinho. And I think a couple of questions have come in for Savinho as well. So Jacko said, if you needed to choose one, Savinho or Eze, who would change us the most? I think we've all answered that question indirectly, but for the avoidance of doubt, very quickly, what's your answers, Yao, Ohio?
The Nigerian that I shall not name.
There you go. Simple. There's one. I think so. There's a couple. Right. So no, I think that's fine. So then, if we move on to Savinho, that looks like a signing that does give us a lot of what Kudus can give us on the flanks in terms of the dribbling, trickery, use of both feet. Obviously, he's not as much of a goal threat as Kudus, and he's much younger than Kudus. Well, I say much younger. Kudus just turned 25. Savinho's 21 years old. But do we see that as a deal that you think will happen? Do you see that deal materializing?
How many times do we need to say this, man? How many times do I need to say this? Well, look, bruv, I don't even know why we're linked. Yeah? Look at this flipping muck. Look, brother, Tobias, yeah, you're my brother. What I'm about to say is going to be an insult because you have one of these, yeah? But, brother, understand I'm not insulting you, but that bold prick, yeah? Yeah? He's not going to do what is right. He's not. He's a twat. And even let's say somebody clips this up and they're like, oh, you should have kept quiet. He got over the line. I don't care whether he gets over the line. Bro, we're not at the point as a club, yeah, where you can start mucking about with the fans. We just watched our club hold 22 L's in the league last season. 4 men are currently injured from that team. Destiny, we don't know what's going on with him. Our 2 10s, or apparent 10s, if however you want to look at it, in Madison and Kulu, they're done for. Like, we might not see them for the rest of this season. So they're clapped. There's 2 men out. And the 4th person, who just recently got married, congratulations to him, yeah, is out here doing anime flipping build-ups, yeah? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we actually doing here? I've had enough. If Savinho arrives, great. It's not enough. It is not enough. I know Richarlison scored 2 goals and he heard through the grapevine that he was getting shifted as part of the deal, and he's probably somewhere in the corner crying. And I like it. I don't bit, yeah, because I need Richarlison to believe that he's Richarlison from Watford and not Richarlison from the first season in Spurs. Just Richarlison from Watford. He just needs to survive so that we can get over this nasty hill, because this season, ladies and gentlemen, this season is about to be one of the most disgusting seasons in our life. We are in the Champions League. They've increased the amount of games in the Champions League. The league that we're currently in saw us lose 22 games. Every team in this league believes they can come to our ground and win. They don't fear us. We are not feared. Yeah, we can go to their ground and they can believe that they can win, because we're a team that have come off 22 league defeats. It doesn't matter, we're Europa League champions. We came off 22 league defeats. Burnley played us last week, and for 10 minutes they believed that they were our family members. You are not my brethren. You are not. So do I believe we will get this over the line with 9 days left to go? No. 2 reasons. Daniel Levy's a prick and Man City hate him. So why would they even organize the deal to work? They hate his guts. He's the reason why they flipping got caught for 115 cases. That guy's a rat.
Man said rats. You know what? Sorry, you may as well go. Ohio.
Yeah, just quickly. I feel like, do I believe it will get done? My belief on that is very low. But what I do believe is that Daniel Levy's been backed into a corner here. Like,
yep.
Someone from the TEI pod tweeted it the other day. It's starting to feel like chairman and directors of football are now linking up at Nando's and sharing stories about how they battered up Daniel Levy. Like, I need to have a little bit of self-respect and start to deduce that, like, these men are not rating my thing. Do you know what I mean? And you have to look at the other contenders in the league, and bar off the top of my head, City attacking wise, they added, it was Shirky. Is Shirky the only attacker City have added? Is it Shirky?
So they bought Mamouche in January, Shirky.
Yeah. So with the exception of City, because they're an anomaly, everyone else has added minimum 2, but actually quite a few of them added 3 to their attacking threat, 2 to 3 players per attacking threat. As in Gyökeres, Verts, Ekatike,
Pedro, Liam Diab,
Gittins. Like, on average, everyone else in the top 5, 6 has added 3 and a bit players to their attack. Like, we don't have an excuse. I think he's been backed into a corner where it's like as Yao said in that emotional run just now, like, we have too many games for you to not actually give Thomas Frank the bodies. Like, it doesn't make logical operational sense to not get 2 more players. And I like to think that we're in a place where we're not going to be getting, with respect to them, the Clinton and G's and them man there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe if 2 players come in, they'll be of pretty decent quality. Like, I'd say our hit rate in the last 2 to 3 windows. Some of them are going to bloom a bit later. But our hit rate has been better the last couple of years. But like, he just has to, whether it's Savinho, whether it's Akliouche, whether it's Lookman, whether it's whoever it is, like, you have to get the bodies through the door. Even leave the names to the side for a second. Leave names, like, you have to get the bodies through the door, because what will then happen is, right, Champions League, more games, Frank can only rotate the squad so much.
Yeah.
Because if man start getting injuries, like, I will always say that Ange Postecoglou's methods, and I try not to talk about Ange because, you know, it's the past. Ange's methods were the reason why we had however many hamstring injuries, yeah? If we start getting injuries because we don't have the bodies, what do we do then? Do you know what I'm saying? So he has like a working responsibility to get two more attacking bodies through the door.
Yeah,
that's it really.
Yeah, I think I agree, and I'm siding with you more than Yao. Like, I completely get where Yao's coming from, and I would not be shocked in the slightest, because it's just what we do. We fail to get our first choice targets. Frank has sounded this guy out as a, like, there's no other reason Spurs, like, obviously we scouted him, but like, it's quite clear for us to move for a player at Man City when we know the figures involved. It's obviously clear. The manager has said, yep, this is a player that I need in my system. So I think because of the failures with Morgan Gibbs-White, because of the failures with Eze, to your point, Ohio, I'm also of the opinion that he's actually put himself in a position where he absolutely has to deliver at least a Savinho plus one more. He has to. So let's see how that goes. Man City don't want to sell him. We know what happens. Money talks. Are you now going to let another manager down by missing out on a target that you knew was always going to cost a lot to take out of his club? And this is a target who actually wants to leave Man City, right? At least with Eze, there was Arsenal involved. Not saying that Savinho doesn't have suitors, but for the amount that it's going to take to buy Savinho, like, he's not going to have every single club in Europe queuing after him. However, the player does want to leave. He does want to leave. And there's if you go by reports, there's a willingness to join Spurs. So we have to do what we have to do. There's money there. You can't tell us there's no money, because we saw you literally agree a fee with Crystal Palace. We saw you agree a fee with Nottingham Forest. There's money there to spend. Go spend it and improve this team.
Man, they agreed terms or hit the release clause for Morgan Gibbs-White, and then all the reports were coming out that we're still going to spend more money. So you mean to tell me in those 3 weeks that apparently we could have spent up to 150 mil, we spent zero? And then you think we're going to spend over 70 million euros, or this guy is not going to spend another 9 days trying to haggle for Savinho? Listen, if we get Savinho, fantastic, because I actually think he's quality and I want him at the club. Yeah. But regardless of what this guy does, he just needs to leave Spurs, for flip's sake.
He does.
He needs to leave Spurs.
100%.
It's enough. We do not need a chairman who scrimps on every single pence and penny and pound and all that kind of stuff, because literally for every extra £4 million you end up spending on a target, that could be the difference between 5th and 3rd, which will make your money back.
100%. And this is what I don't. You've hit the nail on the head. This is what I don't get. Like, people say, no, but Spurs spend money. We know that we've been spending money since we've moved into the stadium. But we're either spending money on the wrong player, right? Or we're not spending enough money on the right player. That's what I don't understand. We overpay on players that we don't categorically need more often than not. But when it comes to the players that we need, to Yao's point, the guy's always thinking that he's the wheeler dealer. Like, I don't get it. What's 5 million in the grand scheme of things if you're finishing maybe 2 league positions higher? How much more millions is that you're getting from the Prem? How much more millions is that if you make it to the Champions League quarters or semis in comparison to going out in the group stages? Like, these are the things that are at risk here, and it's like the club always find a way of not balancing this properly. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm so with you, Yao. We've been saying on the NSO for ages, but this guy, there's a shelf life to Daniel Levy that expired years ago. He needs to leave this club. He does. Go and do your business elsewhere. There needs to be a way where this club can separate themselves from Daniel Levy when it comes to football matters and financial matters in relation to the football. Everything off the pitch, sponsorship deals, go ahead, have at it, build hotels, do everything in your power to make the club money. But when it comes to spending the club's money on the pitch, there needs to be a way whereby we can separate the two. There has to be. Because we won't prosper until that's done. We're just not going to prosper.
We can't. And I'll tell you what annoys me more than anything. Yeah, it's not even like, obviously we heard, you know, he tried to come with some unrealistic adults for the coulda still even. Yeah, and that almost read me. But the part that I don't understand with him is, you know, people don't like you. Like you said it on the overlap flipping interview. You know, people do not like you, and you're out here doing. Now I'm still going to do it my way because my way has been the best. It hasn't. From a business standpoint, of course it's been the best. We're not talking about business. We're talking about one particular thing, football. What happens when you cross that white line? That's what we're talking about. That's all we ever care about. And from that point of view, you were the chairman of a top 6 club by history, a top 6 club that finished 17th and won a cup. You should have some damn shame. You should go out there and rectify the wrongs, because when Chelsea finished 10th, they went and spent flipping 400 million and got back into Europe. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you happily go and spend 50 million on Johnson? Yes, I know he scored in the final. I don't really care. The kid's crap. Why would you go and spend 50 million on Johnson, yeah, but then be scrimping 4 or 5 million for Eze? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. You're right. You're right. And this is literally it. They'll overpay on the player that's less complex because they're younger and they have all these tangibles. Oh, he's young, he's got sell-on value, he's homegrown, he's this, he's that. How about he's good enough? How about that? Why don't we just lead with, is the player good enough? If the answer is yes, do what you can. Anyway,
the whole sell-on fee is quite funny because we're historically bad sellers. We're bad. We are bad at selling people. But anyway,
yeah, honestly, we used to be good, but the last 10 years, outside of Kyle Walker and Harry Kane, it's been a lot of yeah. Anyway.
So we got less than 10 mil for Ndombele and Lo Celso. Brian Hill's still there. That brother is still there.
Mate. We lost that. We sold Davison Sanchez for 42 million. Sold him for like 15 million euros.
Bought Savinho for 25 million. Sold him for free.
Crazy.
Suspicion.
Crazy. Anyway, let's move on to this weekend because I do want to wrap this up in the next like 5-10 minutes. But let's move on to this weekend because amidst all the negativity, there is positives that I mentioned at the start, and that's the coaching. And I feel like we need to talk about that in a little bit of detail because we're up against Man City this weekend. It is a fixture that we generally perform well in. And it's also a fixture that even though he hasn't got like an amazing record in terms of wins, Frank's teams are pretty competitive against Man City. So I was actually looking through the stats for us, not Thomas Frank at Brentford, but for us, we've only lost once in our last 4 visits to the Etihad. We won 4-0 last season. We drew 3-3 the season before. We lost 4-2 the season prior, where we were 2-0 up, and then Riyad Mahrez came on and was just doing the madness. And then the season prior, we beat them 3-2. So, yeah, man, this is a ground where we actually travel well. So, where's your head at? And I'm going to actually start with you, Ohio, and then I'll go to Yao for the scorelines. Where's your head at for this fixture? What do you expect from the team?
Thomas Frank strikes me as someone who has had this game in his calendar and has been prepping for this game for like quite a while. Do you know what I'm saying? I believe when he said the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2 that we get at PSG, when he said that was an experiment, yes, it was. I also think he was test running that to see if we'd do that against City. Because, you know, whatever you think of City, they had flipping Marmoush, Shirky on the bench. last week, and they won 4-0. Do you know what I'm saying? So I do believe that's what we're going to do. I think the Kudus Richarlison 2-man step is going to continue. I think Sarr is going to be like the pressing box to box presence that he's been. I think those will obviously, like, the defend. Everyone's going to be important, but I do believe those will be our 3 most important players. Even though we're at home, right? We're at home. Yeah. Even though we're at home, you got to take your chances against City, and I feel
Etihad, sorry, we're at the
Etihad, sorry. But yeah, either way, it's the same old story every time we've been to the Etihad. Like you have to take your chances. And I say the form Richarlison, it was one game, but Kudus, Richarlison, even Sarr with his late runs into the box, like we are gonna need them to be really, really incisive and on point. I think Paulinho will start. I think he's gonna be like on firefighter duty all game. I just hope that we don't get a repeat of the last 10 minutes of the European Super Cup, where we're penned back and Kudus and Richarlison are knackered, and then the guys who come on maybe don't press as hard as they were, or it wasn't entirely their fault we lost the game, but that's by the by. So I just hope that we can just keep the full concentration the whole time, because we are the bogey team and we got to play up to it essentially. So I'm hopeful. I don't think we'll lose on Saturday. I do not believe we're going to lose. That is where I'm at with the game. Could it be a smash and grab 2-1? Absolutely. I'm just concerned about the last 10 minutes and the quality they can bring on. You're on mute, Tobes.
Sorry, I was going to say, yeah, where do you stand and what's your score prediction?
I don't think I've given a score prediction this season, and I'm probably going to stick to it right now. But I do think, I've said this in the past, I do think we have their number. I can see us nicking a win. And the only reason I'm not giving score predictions because in Andrew's first season, I gave bare score predictions and that guy shamed me. So I'm not going to be shamed again. But I do think we can go out there and get a win. Worst case scenario, I think we can get a draw. I am a bit worried about their attacking prowess because against Wolves, they weren't good, but Jesus Christ, they absolutely blammed them, man, on the attack side. Hence the scoreline that they got. If we can be defensively resolute, like Ohio said, I can easily see us nicking it.
Yep, and I'm with you, man, as well. I don't know why this light is just turned off, but I'm with you, man, as well. I think it's going to be a tight game. I can see us losing, to be honest. I can. I think the same thing that killed us against PSG and ruined a flawless performance, or almost flawless performance, should I say, is something I can see against Man City, which is the caliber of options that they can bring off the bench. But to you guys' points, you would hope that we're bringing on a more hungrier Solanke off the bench. We're bringing on a more hungrier and fresher and fitter Tell, a more ready to go Odebert and whatnot. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think, sorry, the comments are going crazy. Donna Cullen is in the comments apparently. But yeah, no, we definitely have nothing to fear, but at the same time, we do have a lot to fear. Do you get what I mean? We should play with no fear, but we should also be mindful of the threats. Exactly.
Be very mindful. Be very demure. Very mindful.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I'm actually going to go for a draw. I said on the Big Six that it was going to end 2-2, so I'm going to stick to it. Yao, I know you aren't going to go for a prediction, so fair enough. Ohio, I know you said you're going to go for a draw as well. 1-1 or 2-2?
I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay.
At the very least, I'll go for a draw. I won't say the scoreline, but I'll go for the draw.
Fair. Well, let's see how it goes. Hopefully, we're smiling off the back of tomorrow's game and not adding further anger to the to the already angry week that everyone who supports Tottenham's having. But
I can't deal with that head loss again, man. I need peace.
Man. Last week was so good. Last week was amazing. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're gonna end the stream. For those who are still watching, apologies if I didn't get to your listener questions, but we'll be back next week. to get involved in the conversations as well, just hit us up on Twitter as well. We're there. We're very active. Thanks to Mr. Macho Man over here. Hit us up on Twitter, man. Get involved in the conversations. Check out our TikToks as well. Check out our Instagrams too. But until then, take care. Peace out. And Enoch out.
For real, for real.